Sea slugs, by the name of sacoglossans, are known for their leafy green color. The color is due to the slug's ability to not immediately digest algal chloroplasts, also known as plastids, that are found in their main source of food, algae. The slugs consume all the protein and cytoplasm found in the algae, but store the chloroplasts in clear glands, which contributes to the slug's brilliant green color.
For years, scientists were intrigued about why the slugs conserved the photosynthetic chloroplasts, instead of immediately digesting them along with the rest of the algae. One hypothesis was that perhaps the slugs and algal chloroplasts are in a symbiotic relationship, which is the process of two unlike organisms living together. The slugs store the chloroplasts in order to consume the glucose they produce from photosynthesis, effectively making the slugs solar-powered and able to survive for months with no other food sources. This seemed to be supported by a study that showed the slugs were actively absorbing carbon dioxide, which is needed for the chloroplast to continue to photosynthesize.
Photosynthesis uses CO2, water, and light in order to produce oxygen and glucose. The CO2 goes through the Calvin cycle inside the chloroplast, which creates glucose that is consumable by the plant and NADP+. The NADP+ is then used in the photosystem 2 electron transport chain and photosystem 1 to create ATP and oxygen. The ATP is then used to power the continuation of the Calvin cycle in the chloroplasts.
However, recent studies show that the slugs are not photosynthetic, as we once believed. A study done by scientist Sven Gold involved using 3 groups of 2 slugs deprived of a food source for 55 days to test if the slugs truly use the chloroplast for photosynthesis. The first group was placed in an environment that received 12 hours of light and 12 hours of darkness. This mimics a natural environment for the slugs. The second group were submitted to the same light cycle as the first, but were injected with a chemical that would disrupt the photosynthesis of the chloroplast in the slugs. The last group was placed into a completely dark environment. At the end of the time period, all the slugs were pale and lost about the same amount of weight. This means that all the slugs survived the starvation in the same way, by digesting the chloroplast. Thus, the slugs store the chloroplast simply to be used as a long-term food source in case they are subjected to times of food scarcity. These slugs do not actively incorporate the chloroplast into their cells, which means that they cannot use the photosynthesis process for sustenance. It turns out that the relationship between the slugs and the algal chloroplast is that of true predation, and not symbiosis, as once thought.